You see this podcast? Shoes of a Champion. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 4 of the Headlock Talkover podcast, where we like wrestling and we talk about wrestling. I am Jeremy, joined as always by Jack.
Hello.
Hello, welcome to the episode where we will be talking over ECW Living Dangerously 2000, the TikTok of wrestling pay-per-views, as you put.
Yeah, it moves very fast. I felt queasy afterwards.
Yeah, lots of short matches, but it was entertaining, just like TikTok.
Yeah. Speaking of living dangerously,
Go on.
there's some stuff that's happened in the news, the wrestling news.
Yeah, there has. I think we can only brush past it rather than go deep into it, because I really don't want to.
Yeah,
I'd rather not dwell on it.
I don't know about you, but I've stopped following it closely.
Yeah, definitely. Once I'd seen the initial report, that's all I need.
Mhm.
And I can monitor it from afar and leave it at that.
Yeah, I've noticed, I did watch the press conference for the Rumble, and the answers that they gave were pretty interesting.
Yeah, I know Triple H got a lot of flack for what he said,
Yeah.
but it's just a generic cookie-cutter CEO response, isn't it?
Because he didn't acknowledge it at all. He just said, I want to focus on the positives. And that was it. He could have said, look, not only is this my company, this is my family, I can't talk about this. And that would have shut everything down.
Yeah, even if he'd said something along the lines of that legally he's not allowed to say anything about it, that would have sounded better than just flat out ignoring it.
Well, I imagine that would be the case because it's his family. That's his father-in-law.
But you can say that. I know Tony Khan's done that with previous controversies surrounding AEW. He said, like, legally, I've been told I'm not allowed to say anything. So let's just leave it at that.
Well, it says a lot when Tony Khan's handling a situation better than Triple H.
Yeah,
but
it's a bit of a shame. But that is enough about that, and we'll get on to the better news a little later down the line.
Yep.
But first, I'd like to do our top 5 for this week, Jack. This was done super short notice. We're juggling things around in terms of recording. So I threw out the suggestion that we do our top 5 prettiest wrestling belts. And you seemed all for it until you gave me a hint as to what you were putting. As like to preface our list, I think I've gone quite safe with my 5, and you've been an absolute chaotic nightmare with yours from what you've described.
they're fine.
Are they?
Yeah,
We'll see.
they're fine. Divas No. All right. You go first.
The butterfly. My 5th one is pretty standard. It's also the only one of my 5 that's an active belt. My 4 to 1 are all defunct belts that don't exist anymore.
Okay.
I've gone for the AEW World Championship. I think it's nice, simple. I think AEW do this little thing with their belt designs where they're taller rather than they are round. And I don't know what it is, but it really gives this prestigious sports-like effect, which I really enjoy. Couple that with the gems that are on it and then the nice curves on it, and it's just a really pretty belt that all joins together as well. There's something about when the side plates sort of join together. Yeah, exactly. It's beautiful.
I mean, I had it as well. Yeah.
Is it higher on your list?
I haven't done mine in any order.
Oh, okay. Mine is in order.
Right, okay. I just picked 5 and then went for it.
Okay, well, we'll say it's your 5th one. Have you got anything to add to what I've said?
No, basically the same thing. It does look very prestigious. It looks like a belt that you'd want to hold.
100%.
And anyone wearing it would look like a champion wearing it.
Yeah, no one's looks bad with that belt on their shoulder or around their waist, have they?
Exactly.
Right, I'll let you jump in what would be number 4, but yours are obviously in no order.
The big gold belt.
Okay.
I just think it's great. It's big. It's gold. It's
a
belt.
I'm going to scrap it and have mine as a random 5 because big gold is also on my list. It's possibly, arguably, the most prestigious looking wrestling belt there's ever been.
100%.
There's a huge slab of gold with these really intricate designs. Only one side plate on each, which are just a rectangle of gold with similar designs. No gems as far as I remember either, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking at a picture of it now, and it's just a big slab of gold, but it looks...
I think there's red gems around the outside
yes,
of it.
excuse me. There are 4 red gems on each corner of the main plate, but still, it's incredibly simple but intricate at the same time.
And again, you look like a champion because it is so big as well.
Yeah. Who do you associate with that belt?
Goldberg.
Do you think Goldberg?
Yeah.
See, because I wasn't a WCW kid, I think Triple H more than anyone else, because I remember his reign of terror when Goldberg was around particularly. It was a time
It happened.
wrestling. I remember being so annoyed whenever he beat everybody, because that's exactly what happened around that time. Okay, I'll throw one into the hat. I'd like to add the United Kingdom Championship. You've picked that as well, haven't you?
I have picked that.
We are more alike than we know. Jesus. Yeah, absolutely stunning belt, prestigious in the same way. And we have to have some kind of bias with that belt because it's for the country that we're from.
Because it looks like a pound coin.
It does look a bit like a pound coin, just with a nice big red shield in the middle. That's the only difference, really.
I mean, it does sum up the UK. It looks regal.
Yeah, I think,
and royal, I should say, would be a better word.
The only thing that lets it down in my mind is the fact that it's got the very generic WWE side plates where they would chop and change whoever was champion at the time, which I think is quite tacky.
Yeah.
I like the idea of having a customizable aspect of it, but that's exactly what the nameplate was always for, which isn't something that is applicable with current belts. I don't think they do they? I think they just do the side plates rather than having names on them.
Pass.
From what I can remember, I think that's the case. To throw another one my way.
I've gone for the Smoking Skull belt.
Very nice, very nice. I will say that none of the WWE championships from the Attitude Era are on my list at all.
Right, okay. I mean, obviously, it's the Stone Cold belt.
Mm-hmm.
It just sums up Stone Cold as a champion.
Yeah, and it's hard to think of a better champion than Stone Cold, particularly in those times. I think the only thing that lets it down for me is that it looks a little bit like a toy.
That's what I like about it.
Yeah,
it's got the spiky writing. It's very Attitude Era. I mean, it's got the skull on it. It's great.
It's just Stone Cold as hell, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Speaking of WWE Championships, though, I have the Undisputed belt from, I think, 2002 onwards. And it's all the best parts of a WWE Championship, but it adds that prestige. And one tiny touch I've always loved with that belt is that it's asymmetrical. So you have two side plates on one side, but you have three on the other.
Okay.
If you want a second to look that up, just to confirm that. Because in my mind, that's what I remember. And I always associate it with Brock Lesnar more than anybody else. In his early days when he was feuding with people like Kurt Angle and The Undertaker in like 2003, because that was around the time I got into wrestling. And I remember seeing Brock with that massive belt and thinking, who the hell is this guy? Yeah, that's about it for the Undisputed belt for me.
Fair enough.
What's your... I think we're on fourth.
This is my last.
Okay. No, it would be my last, Lex. That makes sense.
I was going to go for the White Strap Intercontinental title, but I've picked the Hardcore title.
Which version of the Hardcore
The first one, the one that was the winged eagle that had been smashed.
Yeah.
And then just sellotaped back together.
Yeah, it just sums it up perfectly, doesn't it?
It's so good. It sums up that entire division. It sums up the time that it was being held as well.
Yeah, you can take one look at that belt and know exactly what it's about without any question.
Yeah.
I've gone very prestigious down my route. All five of mine are pretty much in that realm. And this is what I had as number one for my final one. This is the only one I think could argue the big gold.
Can I guess what it is?
I'm guessing you are going to get it right.
Is it the New Japan title?
It's the New Japan title.
Okay, yeah.
The fourth iteration of the IWGP belt that's best known for having been around Okada's waist for the better part of 2 years.
Yep.
Absolutely stunning belt. Looking at it, it's got all the hallmarks of a classic prestigious belt. It's got a little crown on top, which really adds something to it. Because if you take that out, it's still a beautiful belt without it, but then you just put that little crown on top of it, and it's just...
You got a picture of it there?
Thinking about, I can find it, just give me a second.
That's alright. Can't remember what it looked like.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, yeah, I remember it.
I mean, the side plates are really basic, but if you look at just that main plate, you've got the silver mixed with the gold, you've got the odd gem in there, and even if you can see that little crown section at the top, even if you take that out, it's still beautiful.
Yeah. What are those side plates?
I'm not familiar enough with New Japan to answer that question. Oh, it looks like it might be a list of all the winners, all the champions in order as well. So it's like when you see in old school basketball films and stuff where you see the old winners and stuff like that.
What are they going to do when they run out?
Well, they've changed the belt now. It doesn't matter. They've got that weird, ugly shield-looking thing that I absolutely despise. But yeah, those are our top fives. Let's jump into the news. So we are a few days removed from the Royal Rumble, and we have our winners. On Raw, Seth Rollins. Did you see what Seth Rollins managed to do on Raw?
What are you referring to?
His promo with Cody.
Yeah.
He managed to make a very, very convincing argument that he should be Cody's opponent.
I didn't like it.
No, I was completely sold. So essentially, Seth spoke to Cody and said, I know you want Roman to finish the story. It's the belt that's been here the longest. However, he's the part-time champion, and I'm the full-time champion that's here every week working to defend this title. That's what your dad was about. This is the title that your dad would have wanted you to win. And it got to the point where at the beginning of his promo, when he first mentioned it, the crowd booed it. And by the end, they were cheering for it. He completely turned the crowd around in one promo on the whole idea of the title match being Cody versus Seth as opposed to Cody versus Roman. And that goes to show just how good Seth is.
I didn't like it.
You're allowed to not like it, but I remain in my opinion that was just a fantastic promo that did exactly what it needed to do.
It was a very good promo. I don't think Seth quite gets the recognition he deserves for his promo ability. It's not the story. And I think Cody even saying, what did he say? I'll think about it.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
Yeah, no, not a fan. He should have just downright shot it straight off and just gone, I'm finishing my story.
I think time will tell on that one. I reckon maybe for our next episode, I think we might, rather than doing a top 5 or anything, we might predict the card for Mania and see what we get. Because I think, particularly with the Cody side of things, it can go a lot of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
We could get Cody versus Seth. We could get Cody versus Roman. We could get some third parties added into there as well.
Could be a triple threat.
Exactly. But we'll get to that in a future episode. In shocking news, CM Punk injured himself.
Unbelievable. Is he made of glass?
He must be made of glass. I don't even know what to say. It's thrown a spanner in the works of everything.
There's a lot of spanners in a lot of works right now. I feel sorry for people that have bought tickets to Elimination Chamber because you got no Punk, you got no Seth, you got no Roman.
Yeah.
What's happening there?
God knows.
No Brock.
A bit of a shit show at the moment.
Yep.
But I have faith in old Papa H to pull something off. He's always good at pulling something out the bag. And outside of the names you said, there's still a very decent women's roster that can quite easily pick up the slack. We saw that from the Women's Royal Rumble.
Well, I think women will be featured quite heavily anyway because it's in Australia.
Yeah, so Rhea will get a match. Grace and Waller will probably get a match. There's just a lot of chances there. It's a shame Buddy Murphy's contract doesn't run out sooner, really, because imagine. But what can you do?
We'll see.
Yeah, we sure will see. So we're also just removed from the latest Dynamite and Impact. I'm quickly going to run over what happened in those. I hadn't been following AEW as closely as I thought because Hangman and Swerve have this really interesting program going on because, as we talked about, they've reintroduced the ranking system for the titles in AEW. And Hangman and Swerve are number 2 and number 1, respectively, outside of the champions. So what has been happening is that they've each been having matches on Dynamite where the other person picks their opponent.
Right, okay.
So Hangman had a match with, I can't remember his name. I want to say Tia Leone or Leona.
Isn't that the lady that was in Jurassic Park?
I can't remember. I'm gonna find it and try that again.
Because I know Swerve was against RVD, wasn't he?
Swerve was against RVD. Yeah, Hangman faced Toa Leona. I was close. I've just forgotten their name on the top of my head. Yeah, there's nothing about the report I'm seeing here about Toa Leona, but Hangman won. Swerve faced RVD and won. We also got Jon Moxley versus Jeff Hardy, which was supposedly a very good match, but what was most important is that after the match, Moxley went to shake Hardy's hand, and Hardy walked away. So we're really looking at a Hardy heel turn here, which we've had issues with that in the past. I don't think he's stupid enough to do that.
That's worked out really well before.
But, I mean, we're 12 years removed from that. It could be anything. Other than that, Wardlow faced Commander. That was kind of pointless.
Did his knee in, didn't he? The last powerbomb he did, he went to pick him up and you see his knee like buckle. And then I don't know if you watch the match, but on the outside, he's visibly angry. Like he's hitting the ring stairs. He's tweeted out saying he's fine, but there's other people that have tweeted out saying, yeah, he's saying he's fine. He's not fine.
Yeah, he's going to say he's fine, isn't he? That's really annoying because we're missing out on a lot of really good wrestling. And sometimes it's unfortunate circumstances, sometimes it's bad booking, sometimes it's just poor ability from the wrestlers. It can be a great many things, but it's just a shame missing out on some really good opportunities, particularly since Wardlow was supposed to be aiming to get the title for Adam Cole.
He'll still be on TV.
Yeah, of course he will. He's a big, hulking mass of meat. He's
But-
going to be on TV. With the ratings as well, we also had Diana Perazzo versus Taya Valkyrie. I think they are number 1 and 2 in the women's rankings, and Perazzo won, so I think she's going to be facing Toni Storm at Revolution.
She's only just got there.
She hasn't lost, I don't think. I think she's just on an
That's a
absolute,
good point.
for lack of a better term, rampage and just won every match she's been in, so I think she's number 1. In terms of TNA, there's only one major bit of news I saw, and that's the fact that we talked last week because we weren't sure what was going to happen with Trinity in terms of her WWE stuff because they pre-record. They've just had this episode where she announced next week is going to be her final match for TNA.
Oh, so on TNA TV, is she still the champion?
No. Jordan Grace is the
Grace.
champion.
Because that would have been weird.
Yeah, well, I think if in TNA kayfabe she would have been the champion, she would have had to come out with the belt, which would have been very strange. But no,
Yeah.
Jordan Grace is the champion. I think she's having a tag match with Trinity to close them out. And then Trinity will jump over and become Naomi again in WWE.
Right.
I think that's the plan.
Interesting.
I think that's it for the news, unless there's anything I'm missing, but I don't think so, other than the really obvious, which, as I said, we're not going to delve into.
Did you hear about the Brock spot that was supposed to happen in the Rumble?
The fact he was supposed to be in the Rumble, everything down to the wire was taken by Braun. That's
Well-
what I heard.
Brock was supposed to be eliminated by Dom.
Yes. And Braun did get eliminated by Dom, didn't he? I think they did everything down to as it should have been.
Yeah, they might have done.
So,
But Dom versus Brock, I think, is what they were setting up for.
yeah, I
Which-
think that would have been really good. But I think this is a perfect opportunity for WWE here. Look, they could quite literally just slot Braun in there in exactly the same position
Well-
and make him look like a fucking megastar.
Well, rumours are they were pushing for Gunther Brock at Mania. So, I mean, you could just slide Braun into that. Whether he takes the title or not, who knows?
He's a perfect fit to slot in there instead. So I really hope they do it. They've teased it a lot, particularly on Raw, actually, which is another thing I didn't mention, is that you had the idea that Andrade has been signed to Raw by Adam Pearce, and I think Aldis is going to be signing Bron Breakker to SmackDown, which has a lot of interesting ramifications.
Yeah, that's going to be good fun. There is something else I've been following,
Carry on.
and I message this to you every now and then.
Yeah, you do update me on this.
Gunther
Mm-hmm.
and his IC title reign. I don't know if they've just inflated it all of a sudden.
What, the numbers?
Yeah, because he's now 17 days of having the total combined reign as well.
That sounds about right. I think I remember you mentioning it, and then we did the maths and we realised that if he made it to Mania, he'd have the longest reign combined.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I thought when we did the maths, it was adding up around WrestleMania, or it was the day after Mania. I might have got that completely wrong, but I remember seeing it, like a graphic. It just said like Gunther 600 days, and I was like, what?
Doesn't seem right, does it?
It doesn't seem right at all, because I've been following it pretty closely.
What's funny is I don't think he's beaten his UK title yet either.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think he's got to be up there in terms of total championship reigns full stop in WWE.
I worked this out a while ago, and I sent it to you, and I can't be bothered to do it again, but I worked out how long he's had a title since he's been employed versus how long he hasn't had a title since he's been employed, and it's mental.
It's like 75% to 25%, I think. Something like that. Absolute insanity. That Gunther is a machine.
If he loses the title between now and Mania, he's picking up Seth's title.
He has to.
Like, there's no two ways about it.
Nowhere else for him to go. Walter held the United Kingdom Championship for 870 days. He's not even 3/4 of the way towards it with his Intercontinental Championship run. That's how long he held that title for.
I just thought of something.
Go on.
Didn't Braun beat him for it?
No, it was Dragunov.
Who merged the titles? Braun has beaten Gunther.
That was Bate. That was Bate and Breakker, you're thinking. Yeah, big strong boy lost out to Breakker to merge those two titles. I think Bate was the only ever two-time champion.
Right. Have Braun and Gunther done stuff? I have it in my head that they've had a match.
I have a feeling they faced off very briefly in the Rumble, if memory serves. But other than that, I don't think so. Oh, no, absolutely, you're right, because they were both in NXT 2.0. I'm pretty sure Gunther had a title match, and that was his first ever loss while on NXT.
Right, okay. So Braun's beaten Gunther?
I'm pretty sure he has.
Because that could be interesting.
Yeah, we're going to have to look that up just to be absolutely sure.
Well, either way, Braun could be the one to take that title off.
He'd be the perfect WrestleMania opponent, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They faced each other once in April 2022. So I'm assuming that would have been the NXT episode just before WrestleMania, and then Gunther got called up.
Right.
I type in Braun, all I get is Bronson Reed. So there you go. They did have one match where Braun won. I don't even know if it was clean. Could have been anything.
Yeah, I can't remember. I remember it happening, but I don't remember. I remember the outcome, but I don't remember anything else.
Yeah, I think they just need to cement a star and not have this long title reign be for nothing. Like, if Brock was the person to beat him, that makes no sense in terms of elevating talent.
I don't think Brock was going to beat him.
I would hope not.
Because it would have made Gunther look like an absolute monster.
Yeah.
Especially this far into his reign as well.
More so than he already has been as well.
Yeah.
Because he's beaten everybody that's been put in front of him. The only people that have let him down have been Kaiser and Vinci.
Mm-hmm. Don't you badmouth Kaiser. He broke a record in the Rumble.
He did. First German ever in the Rumble. Person that is, not suplex.
That's a mad statistic right there.
Just a bit crazy, isn't it? I think that'll do for the news, so we will jump right into ECW Living Dangerously. Thank you very much for listening. We'd appreciate it if you gave us a like, a comment, a subscribe, a follow on whatever platform you're on. Every little helps in terms of making this little podcast just a little bit bigger and getting it out to more people. Thanks again, and enjoy ECW Living Dangerously 2000.
I'm excited for this one.
ECW, ECW.
Have you ever watched the ECW event before?
Never.
Oh my. Okay. It's like the equivalent of watching an extended TikTok video.
Yeah.
Where, like, every syllable, there's a different camera angle and colours and noise and shapes and...
Maybe that's where WWE stole their camera editing from.
Yeah, maybe. Right, let's go. Oh, Sinister Minister.
I think I looked up his actual name beforehand. His name is James Vanderberg.
Amazing.
I only know him as Sinister Minister, but that's his name.
James Mitchell. He says some funny stuff in this.
Yeah. Well, I think it only gets pulled off because it's so camp.
Speaking of camp, have you seen how fabulous his nails are?
Yep.
They are so good. He completely breaks kayfabe as well because he calls Raven Scotty.
Oh, does he? I didn't notice that. See, I didn't know his real name. I would have missed that completely. I can't stop staring at his nails now, and they look fake.
It's weird, isn't it?
Sinister Minister is listing the 7 deadly sins, and each of the wrestlers that represent it, saying Super Crazy is greedy for going after the title.
There is Hey Scotty.
Scotty being Raven, who represents Sloth, and Envy being Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah.
I think he says he's envy of the physique of, is it Candido? It's not Candido. Who was it?
Steve Corino.
Steve Corino, excuse me.
One thing I found interesting in this as well, it's a promo of the 7 Deadly Sins. They only did 6 more ECW events after this, so this is the 7th one till the end.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's premonition. But yeah, what a great way to start. It's so good. Also, one thing that bothered me about this, why is he not sat in row 6? Because you could have had 666.
Oh, I did not notice that. Oh, that's a missed opportunity. The only reason I can think is because there are 13 seats and 7 is the exact middle seat. That's the only reason they've done that.
He could have sat in 13.
Yeah.
Oh, just missed opportunity.
So this is the 3rd or 4th Living Dangerously. We've got a couple on the network, but I can't remember when it started.
I'm not too sure, to be honest.
And I can only assume it's based off of Paulie's older gimmick in WCW, which we covered last time on the Great American Bash.
Oh, yeah, it must be.
We've got Joey Styles and Joel Gertner.
Yeah.
In the ring. Joel Gertner, I remember from the NWA TNA show that we did, and I didn't know anything about him before that, and he came across as a scumbag that I was supposed to hate. I had no idea he was loved by the ECW fanatics.
Oh, yeah. The quintessential stud muffin.
Built like a muffin, too.
Yeah. Styles isn't hiding that bald patch. Is he wearing a top under that blazer?
No. That's his chest hair.
This bit's so good.
It's a technique that's used a lot in wrestling.
Mm.
The Rock stole it, actually. Think of, I think it was Mania 30.
Right.
With the Let's Start Making Rock Babies bit. It's almost exactly the same as Gertner's shtick.
Yeah, a lot of things were stolen from ECW. There'd be no Stone Cold.
And here comes Cyrus. Took me a while to realise who that was.
Yeah, I wanted to know. Yeah, I was going to ask if you knew who that was.
I was here like, I know that face.
I know that amount of heat.
And it's because he's got hair.
Oh, it's fabulous, isn't it?
It is.
But this is a gimmick that Paul Heyman thought of because he was under pressure from the network to cut down on some of the content that they were doing. So it was basically, do you remember the right to censor gimmick?
Yep, certainly do.
It's basically that.
Also half stolen from WWE as well. There's a lot of stealing between these two companies. This is like the DX promo in like 98, where they were told there was a list of swear words they can't say on the air anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And they decided to just cut a promo saying them all censored, having a go at the network.
Not petty.
No.
It's a perfectly reasonable adult thing to do.
But did you ever hear the story of what happened afterwards?
No.
They got a letter from the network saying, yeah, that was brilliant. More of that, please.
I love the 2 microphones he's got going. Yeah, they were having a lot of problems with the network at this time.
Well, they made the most of it with this pay-per-view because Cyrus comes out and says, oh, you can't say this, you can't say that. And Joel Gertner is like, we're not even on your network, son. I can say whatever the hell I want.
I think Paul Heyman had pretty much stopped caring at this point. I think that they already had one foot in the grave by the time this had come on.
Yeah, I don't know how far this pay-per-view was into 2000, but I know we had the invasion and the WCW and ECW purchases were not far apart. Typical heel work from Cyrus/Callis there.
He's so good at it as well.
I'm going to beat you up. And as soon as Joel or anybody comes out to call his bluff, he's like, no, I don't want any violence. Yeah. No, thank you.
Classic ECW chant. Fuck him up, Gertner. Fuck him up. I just love how he looks confused. You want to do it now? What? You just said.
What would give you that impression?
Oh, Joey Styles instigating everything.
Now he doesn't want to fight. He'll kick his ass, but he doesn't want to fight.
It makes me think if they were like stretching for time at this point, because of how unorganized ECW was, they were like, yeah, we haven't got anything yet. Yeah. Just go out there and talk for a bit.
Do what you want.
Till we plan a card.
Nice little kick from Callis as well.
It's a pretty good super kick he throws as well.
He can work when he needs to.
Joey Styles like a spider monkey on him. That man knocked out JBL.
I was trying to remember who he knocked out.
Put some respect on his name. And after all that, they sit next to each other and call the whole show. Absolutely fine.
They jab the entire time, though.
Oh, it's great.
Most of the intro is Rob Van Dam. And I take that back. I forgot how long this intro was. It's like a minute or two.
It goes on for too long, and it makes my eyes go really weird.
Because it's all like in fake slow motion.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all zooms and really fast edits, and it just, loads of Tommy Dreamer.
Had to highlight their stars.
That match that it just showed, Mike Awesome versus Masato Tanaka, we're going to have to watch that at some point.
We will get around to it, I'm sure.
I have a lot of things to say. But it is kind of surreal seeing Dusty Rhodes.
It doesn't seem right, does it? It almost seems like he's too much of a purist to go to a company like ECW.
I think Cody mentioned it in that promo he cut with Heyman. Was it on Raw not long ago?
Yes.
You mentioned the story of Dusty going to ECW. So it was this that he was referencing. It's still pretty cool to see.
Yeah. We've managed to time this well as well, because I think Paulie turned up in Philadelphia at a random indie show recently and got into the ring, and there was just a massive ECW chant.
Of course.
The whole time he was in the ring.
Just going to follow him forever.
Well, especially in Philly.
Yeah. I don't know what that audio thing's about.
I didn't notice that. Someone just kind of interrupts Steve Corino, but he carries on talking, so it must not be in the arena.
No, I think it must be like something in the truck. They pressed the wrong button, because you can hear his microphone cut on and off. I don't know what that was. Yeah, just heel promo, dressing down the crowd.
Yep.
Tried and tested.
And it's Connecticut as well, so they're on Vince's front doorstep pretty much.
Yeah.
And Steve Corino spots the Sandman's wife in the front row of the crowd.
Her and Sandman's son been involved in so many storylines in ECW. There's the storyline with Raven where Raven brainwashes the Sandman's son. And
wow. And they all look fed up.
Calling her a hardcore icon in the locker room. Ridiculous.
In 9 times out of 10 where this kind of promo is cut, the kid normally tries to stand up for the mum. So I'm trying to think as to why they're both just sitting there and taking it. I can only assume they were told to do so by Paul.
Oh, yeah. The stuff that he says, this must have been allowed ahead of time.
I don't know if that had been done before, but I like the idea of using the term put me over as sleep with me.
Oh, it's good, isn't it? There's a lot of them using, like, wrestling terms in this. I think Don Callis says, like, getting heat.
Yeah, I heard all sorts like that throughout the show.
I think he mentions hot tag at one point, and it's just like, Fair play to Sandman's wife, because she takes a fucking hammering in this. Like, he drags her over the rail. Like, there's no pulling anything.
But she gets gored, doesn't she?
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah, she does. I mean, what's going to happen here? Is he going to rape her in the ring?
I think that's the implication.
What are you doing? This is brutal. Even if that wasn't a wrestler's wife, that would have been brutal if that was a wrestler.
She was not taught to take that from properly because she went head first when she went backwards.
Yeah.
So her head hit the table before her body did.
Utterly ridiculous. I don't know if you noticed as well, but when she's getting dragged over the rail, the sun kind of helps her leg over as well. I think you must have saw, like her back's bending horribly the wrong way.
But then as they're walking up the ramp, she's like, get my kids, get my kids.
Yeah.
Just two unsupervised teenagers in the front row of a wrestling show now.
I mean, it escalates very fast.
Sure does.
It just goes from 0 to 100. That's all right, got to have a match now, though. He's just threatened to rape someone's wife and drove her through a table. That's all right, because he's got to fight Dusty Rhodes.
I do have to wonder if this is one of those hidden things to get the Sandman away for most of the show.
Oh, it must be.
No reason why he had to leave the arena throughout most of the pay-per-view.
I don't know if there was some story around this previously or not.
Possibly. Maybe it's like a Backlash 2000 thing.
Yeah,
where it gives everyone the hope that Sandman's not going to be there.
Yeah. I didn't watch any ECW sort of before or after this when watching this, so I'm not too up on the current storylines.
There's a lot of things I'd forgotten before watching this. I'd forgotten there was an ECW video game.
Yeah, there is. You ever played it?
Nope.
Yeah, me neither.
It looks like it's the exact same game that WWE was making.
Yeah, it just looks like No Mercy.
I feel like it was a Nintendo exclusive as well, so it could very well be the same game reskinned. I've only ever seen it on the N64.
I can picture it on PS1, but I don't know if I've just made that up.
Oh yeah, Sandman who says it. Where's my kids?
Find my kids. They're probably in the front row where you left them. Maybe Carino got them. Oh, Jesus.
What a dark way to open the show.
It might have been done as well to get those two on the same page, because they've got like a common ground.
I guess so. This is also, I believe this is the only wrestling company where both commentators are forced to stand throughout the whole show.
He called Dusty Rhodes a whore?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is surreal. Watching Dusty Rhodes come out of an ECW tunnel.
And we get yet another match where the two competitors are tied together. Quite a lot of it in the 90s and 2000s, wasn't there?
Yeah, the same kind of match, isn't it? Oh no, the other one was a chain match.
Yeah, the Russian chain from Great American Bash.
The same rules, isn't it, I think?
Effectively. And they'll both hurt your wrists. Very specific build weight for Carino, which I thought was really strange. Down to the quarter pound.
Did they even announce Dusty's weight?
Nope. Not that I heard.
One thing I noticed as this match started, the ring is very loud.
Could very well be deliberate.
I would imagine so.
If you're going to get a lot of weapons involved in your matches and try and make it seem dangerous, a nice loud whack is going to make it seem that way.
Nothing to do with the quality of the ring or anything like that.
In ECW? No. You suggesting Paulie was cutting corners or something?
You can tell Dusty's wrestling a completely different style in this. Like, the crowd want to cheer him, but they also just want violence. And he's trying to build some anticipation.
Give you a bit of a classic.
Yeah. And the crowd are like, nah, just hit him with stuff. That's all we want. I mean, he didn't really sound like a dinner bell.
I think it's just a fat joke. Just a fat joke.
That is a horrible spot. Just digging the edge of it into his head. That's horrible.
The problem is, though, they're quite blunt. If I remember rightly, the ends of them are folded over.
They're just talking about how they had it sharpened before the match.
Well, shut my mouth.
Yeah. I reckon they had a little word with Dusty at the start. They're like, go into the crowd. They will love it. I imagine he was very limited in the ring at this time.
Yeah, I'm trying to imagine how old he was at this time. I don't even remember how old he was when he died.
No. And that's how easy it is to get an ECW champ. Just go into the crowd.
There you go. That's the first time they've used a weapon in the crowd.
Yeah.
And they chanted before it.
Yeah, I don't know if they're actually blading or not, or if they're using the cowbell to blade.
I think the plus side of these really chaotic cameras is we'll never know.
Also, Dusty pulling his trousers up when he's getting grinded by the cowbell makes me laugh. Yeah, it's not the most exciting match in the world, is it?
It's very slow. But I think that could be down to Dusty's limitations, as you were saying.
Luckily, it is Dusty Rhodes, and I think the crowd were just excited to see Dusty And Carino was a heel at this point, so I think anyone beating the shit out of him would have been good.
Yeah, there's a handful of people that you could have a slow match with and it would still get over regardless.
Oh, yeah.
Dusty's in that league of people. But it's a shame because we know how good a worker Carino is.
Yeah, the smart move putting it on first.
Well, Dusty, at this point, I guess he was kind of the star of the promotion, the most well-known name. Despite the fact ECW's kind of at its peak in what it would achieve.
Can't remember if Terry Funk was still in here.
It'd be weird for them not to at least mention him at this point.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Someone trying to chant a holy shit chant. Yeah, it does drag on a bit this after a while.
I think the thing that lets it down the most is there's not much in terms of like creativity with the spots.
Yeah.
It's go into the crowd, hit him with the bell, go back into the ring, hit him with the bell again, choke him with the rope.
Do something with a chair. I mean, doing that whole thing with Sandman's wife at the start, you got to come down after that.
It takes the wind out of the sails, doesn't it? A you suck dick chant from Torino. Get a few of those throughout the show.
Oh yeah. This is ECW in 2000. It's not the most politically correct.
Well, we've both seen later pay-per-views where gay equals bad has been quite prevalent.
Yeah, good old wrestling. How do you sell that, raking the bell up his arm?
You can see that he's actually raking it, though, because the skin's turned white.
Yeah.
There you go, now he's actually bleeding.
Yeah, so that must have been how they were blading then, using the edge of the cowbell.
They could have been one on one of the corners, taped on the inside.
Yeah.
Who's Joey kidding, apologising to viewers for the blood?
Oh, he takes it back. It's amazing. Yeah.
You're squeamish. Don't bother.
Yeah. We're sorry if you're squeamish.
Also, fuck you if you're squeamish.
Yeah, it's so good.
What are you watching ECW for? This isn't for you, obviously.
I don't know what Jack Victory's doing to Dusty on the outside. Just like holding onto the arms, apparently.
Maybe to stop him from interfering with the chair. Didn't work.
He's absolutely gassed.
Luckily, he had another 15 years or so to save his legacy.
Yeah. I don't think this did anything to harm it, but I don't think it was necessary either.
No. But it shows that he was past his prime in terms of what he could do in the ring.
But like Cody said, it lit a fire under him and gave him his passion back, and maybe that's what drove him to get back into the business and get involved again. And because of that, we got NXT, we got the trainers, people that he trained from there.
Yeah, imagine how the landscape could have changed if he'd never joined NXT.
Yeah. I love this. The ref just starts helping, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely forgot about that.
So one thing that they mentioned in this is in a previous match, Carino had, I think, attacked the referee. So all bias sort of goes out the window at this point. But from a kayfabe perspective, why have him referee the match? If you're not going to be like, I'm reading into it too much.
Might have been deliberate just to get this.
Also, it blurs the referee's middle fingers, but it doesn't blur Dusty's. What's that about?
Not noticed the blurring, and I'm trying to think of a reason, and I can't.
I don't know, maybe the referee's an official.
Maybe. There you go, Dusty wins.
About 5 minutes too long.
And it wasn't a long match.
No.
It was maybe 15 minutes.
And the ref just jaw-jacking with Carino, look. Yeah, a couple of minutes too long. Hey, Dusty Rhodes at ECW, it's a sight to see.
Yeah, you don't get many examples like that. Really big stars going to quite small promotions in comparison to their stature.
Yeah. He looks completely out of it as well. I don't know if he's selling or what's going on there, but
I imagine some people would compare this to CM Punk in AEW. I am not one of those people.
I love this, that they keep pressing the side of their headphones like they're getting notifications through there.
All he's just telling them what to say. But at this point, they're saying that the Sandman has been taken to the hospital, so he forfeits his match with Rhino that was scheduled to happen in the tournament for the TV channel.
Did you notice someone in the background?
No?
Someone just appears in the background, turns, looks at the camera, and just retreats back behind the curtain. Oh, it's so good.
Cyrus is absolutely loving it. What? You mean Rhino has to go to the final?
It's just every time he says Rhino, he sticks a bit of bass in it, and it's so good. It's that arm swing he does as well.
Rhino goes through to the final.
Oh, it's so good.
No.
He's so good. That little smirk as well. Oh, he's so slimy. I love him. Well, I bet this was confusing for you.
It was.
Louis Dangerously, obviously doing a very good Paulie Dangerously impression. I don't know why people love him here. Dead silence.
Even some middle fingers from the crowd.
He's trying to get something out of the crowd and just nothing is happening.
Well, you got to use the microphone for that, Louis.
I mean, he looks a bit like Heyman.
A little bit. He looks more like the bloke from The Office. Under weaknesses, you put expert.
On my feet. We're going to leave that. Yeah. How confused were you by C.W. Anderson,
Yeah, it took me a moment.
who they refer to as the Enforcer? I did look into it, and he is an honorary member of the Anderson family. That's why he uses the Spine Buster as well.
So it's like that one Von Erich brother.
Yeah. Like the Anderson, like a, kayfabe family, and I think he trained with possibly Ole Anderson, who liked him and said, "Oh, you can use the name."
He does look like an Anderson.
Yeah.
I'll give him that.
Yeah, I don't think he did much after ECW. Other than his name, there's not much to him.
No, he's not got Arn's charisma, has he?
Arn doesn't really have Arn's charisma.
We've seen him cut a promo.
There's something about him, though. He's
cold.
Yeah.
I think that plays to his favour.
He's got that whole, Dean Malenko thing. Charisma black hole, but for some reason, he's fascinating.
It's because you know he could kill you.
Yeah. Have you ever seen these guys either?
Nope. Is it Danny Doring?
Danny Doring and Roadkill. And I thought Danny Doring was Billy Kidman when he came out.
I can see why you would think that. I have no idea who it is, but...
That's Danny Doring. Roadkill's the Amish one. Roadkill was one of those, hidden gem ECW guys that was way better than they had any right to be.
No, Cyrus Hiska is not very protective of her body.
Oh, dear.
Keebler before Keebler?
Pretty much. Well, there's a lot of that in ECW. They know who they were targeting.
Well, in WWE, they didn't really show it on the camera, though, did they? Sure did there. You can see what she had for breakfast.
It looks like she's wearing tinfoil. It's ridiculous.
Was she one of the NWA TNA lot? I feel like she was.
I think she was the one that cut the promo on Francine, wasn't she?
That sounds right. Yeah, because they mentioned that they shut down the one promotion and
yeah,
they could shut down another.
How excited are you to see the angry Amish warrior for the first time?
If I was any happier, I think I'd shit myself. There's a bit of a mass transit thing going on, though, with Roadkill.
Right.
Such a similar look where you've got the suit.
Yeah.
And it's just a big bloke with a job.
Well, yeah, mass transit was a gimmick. Was supposed to be a bus driver, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Something stupid.
And Danny Doring, it's like Owen Hart crossed with Ricky Starks, I think. Would be quite apt in terms of the look. Because you've got the pink and black tights.
But they were a good tag team, so this isn't just a team that was thrown together. They teamed quite regularly.
You could have fooled me.
That's ridiculous, isn't it? Give one of them that sort of flamboyant wrestling pink tie-dye attire. Now, what should we make the big guy? Amish. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that works. I'm sure they could be friends.
It's just ECW all the way, though. Yeah, he moves so well for a big guy.
I think he's quite young, from what I can tell. That's normally what it is with bigger guys.
Mm.
When they're younger, they can still move. Their poor knees haven't been worn down to dust.
Yeah, I got confused then because I thought Joey Styles calls him Billy Doring, and I'm like, you're not doing this Billy Kidman thing any favours in my head. Like I say, ECW, you don't really think about having good wrestlers. You just think about it just being chaos. But they had some really good guys that just didn't go on to do much.
Yeah, it's a shame. I feel like WWE did take the best of the best.
Yeah.
With what they had. But yeah, there's still a lot of really good talent on Showcase in this one show alone.
I think a lot of them as well, there was that loyalty. They were like, oh, we'll never sell out and we'll never go to the big corporation. And
money just talks eventually.
That's it, yeah. But I think a lot of them kind of killed their careers, really.
Yeah, it says a lot when this pay-per-view really changed my perspective on Super Crazy as a performer.
Right.
Because I've only ever known his WWE stuff.
Yeah, it was so good. What was, mind blank in their gimmick where they came out on lawnmowers?
Yeah, that was it.
What was that? What were they called?
Mexicals.
That's it. That was your only exposure to him?
Yep.
Oh,
only time I ever saw Super Crazy. Or Psychosis. And they put on some really good spots in their tag team work, but Super Crazy is actually a really good wrestler.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it? You can hear those connecting as well, those chops.
Your point about the ring there, if you notice, Dory isn't really stomping when he hits the forearms. Barely lifting his foot off the ground, but the ring is that loud it doesn't matter.
Yeah. It makes the more high impact moves seem more high impact.
And then Roadkill in with the hot tag.
And the ring sounds like there's fireworks going off. Ridiculous.
I did not notice the ring on my first watch through of this, and now I cannot unhear it.
I'm so sorry.
It's like there's a gunfight in the arena. I think it helps it's a nice big room with not too many seats. There's a lot of open air and a lot of hard walls for the sound to hit.
Roadkill takes a hell of a bump there, straight to the outside. He doesn't even hit the side. How slow did Roadkill get in the ring then? It's like he's counting.
It feels like he was supposed to stop that.
Yeah, or he missed his cue somewhere maybe. Yeah, it wouldn't be a tag team match if someone didn't do a heart attack.
Or as they called it, the Lancaster Lariat.
Viking horn.
And then here's Elektra climbing up.
Sits right on her face.
That's what you get for turning on an Elektra.
It was sort of a spine buster. Not worthy of the surname Anderson.
Yes. One really weird thing with ECW in particular as well is their counts are so inconsistent in their speed. That was a very fast count. And I can't help but feel, as they're walking away, it feels like Louis trying to cop a feel the entire time.
It wouldn't surprise me, yeah. Oh, I don't get the turn. Was that because someone at the start, that lady at the start?
I don't know. I can't remember, but I know there's a promo later on that clears it up.
Because they refer to her as, a jealous harlot, don't they? And it was...
Now, Jack, I owe you an apology. We've had conversations before about Lance Storm, and I refuse to believe he could cut anything close to like an impassioned promo, and I was entirely wrong.
It's very Canadian, but yeah, he's the best part of this segment.
Yeah, the intensity plays in his favour, and he's not taking his eyes off the camera for a second.
Just incredible. It's a bit too breathy, and I think he tries to play intense a bit too much.
That's an old school style, though, isn't it? That might be what it was.
Yeah, so intense. Everyone said as well in ECW, Lance Storm was their favourite person to wrestle. They said they'd wrestle him every night. He was so good.
He knew what he was doing.
Right.
Take it away.
Had you heard of Mike Awesome before?
Heard of? Yes.
You'd never seen anything about him?
I didn't even know what he looked like.
When I think of my favourite wrestlers ever, I don't immediately think of Mike Awesome. But every time I see a Mike Awesome match, I come away thinking he's one of my favourite wrestlers. How he got so mishandled in America is ridiculous.
He's got a Drew McIntyre style build. It tells you just how popular he could have gotten anywhere he went.
Yeah. I mean, take the microphone away from him. Yeah, he should have gone on to do such bigger and better things.
It does the job. What I will say is this is a real mismatch of body size versus face heel dynamic.
Yeah.
Because Kid Cash is supposed to be the heel here, and he's half the size of Mike.
Like, that's what made Mike Awesome so good, is there was nothing fancy about his style. But you watch him, and he moves like someone Kid Cash's size. It's unbelievable.
And Cash does do a fantastic job of making him look really good.
I mean, with Mike Awesome's style as well, you had no choice. Yeah, when most people think of Mike Awesome, he was the ECW champ and he left to go to WCW. You know, the famous match that always gets brought up, him versus Taz. And it was a WCW contracted guy in Mike Awesome versus a WWE employed guy in Taz in an ECW event.
I hadn't heard of this, actually.
And Taz beat him to get the title back. Mike Awesome left ECW because he just wasn't getting paid.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that side of ECW law, and that Paul had quite a reputation for just not paying people.
There was that as well, and as part of ECW, he could still go to Japan and do his stuff in Japan. I mean, this is a hell of a dive.
Yeah, that's insane.
Barely makes it over. Cash did that a lot. They use it in the opening as well, where he does a flip over the rail. It's ridiculous.
Not many people that could have pulled that off.
No.
Awesome, just throwing himself over the top rope like he weighs nothing.
Yeah. This was a Mike Awesome signature in ECW, was the Awesome Bomb from the top rope. And the way he gets it in the ring, I love so much. Just chucks it in. Doesn't fold it down or anything. He's like, just get it in there.
I don't think I've seen anyone put it over the top rope quite like that.
Yeah. I will never not be impressed with the way how he gets to the top rope with people on his back. It is mental.
It takes some insane balance.
I mean, they always make you think, oh, he's going to splash him through the table. No, he's not. No, he's not. Not when he's sat on the edge of the table like that. At this point, the crowd know what's happening.
Yeah, they know exactly what's coming.
Look at that. That is ridiculous.
He has
one hand.
He hasn't stood up yet. And he stands straight onto the top with him on his one shoulder.
I wrote in my notes, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah. Followed by a classic Joey Styles, oh my God.
Well, Mike Awesome is the reason why Joey Styles does that. Because Mike Awesome did a plancha to the outside. And the story is, I can't remember the guy he hit it on, but he bent backwards over the guardrail horribly. And Joey Styles shouted, oh my God. And that's what birthed his catchphrase.
You can see from the match why they put 2 belts on the man.
Yeah, but he had such crap gimmicks everywhere else. He was the fat chick thriller in WCW. He was that 70s guy.
Such a waste.
It makes it even more sad as well. Like, do you know what happened to Mike Awesome?
I don't.
So he ended up killing himself. Oh, his wife left him, and he ended up hanging himself. And knowing what he did to get money for them in the wrestling industry and how it treated him, it just makes it so much more tragic. He had retired by that point, I think. But yeah, he should have been a megastar.
I can definitely see why. With his size, his ability, there's not much in terms of charisma, but you can work with that.
Yeah. I think he had enough. You could get around it. He cut a promo there and it was believable. If he says he's going to fucking kill you, you'd believe it. But I think they had big plans for him in WCW because when he debuted, I want to remember, I think he attacked Nash, first night in WCW, and you're attacking Kevin Nash.
But this is a bit confusing because they're just attacking Jazz. I'm not sure if there's something I'm missing.
That's what I said at the start, where it's like a TikTok video where it's just everything is happening. And
yeah, it could very well be because they are the next match and they just wanted to get it started.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I really have to say about this match is Chris Chetty is Taz's cousin.
Oh, wouldn't have thought that.
And also, they nearly drop him on his head right there.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in this match. It isn't not entertaining.
You can tell they're all very green. Well, the 2 Americans are very green.
Yeah, I don't know who any of these 4 people are outside of this match.
No, other than Chris Chetty, I know being Taz's cousin. Well, Nova was Simon Diamond.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought Nova was quite impressive in this match. Shame he's got the Venom Spider-Man suit on.
Yeah.
Kind of takes away from the gimmick.
Oh, not Simon Diamond, Simon Dean.
That name rings a bell.
Yeah, he used to come out on the what's it called?
But the Segway.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He had that fitness gimmick.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Yeah, that's Nova. I couldn't remember the Segway in that. All I had was Michael. Arrested Development. Job. That's who I was trying to think of.
Yes.
Arrested Development. Will Arnett's character.
Yes.
Yeah. Michael.
Completely random tangent while this match continues, though.
Like I say, there's not much to say in this match.
The inventor of the Segway, do you know how he died?
Who's that? The inventor of the Segway?
The inventor of the Segway. Do you know how he died?
Is it Segway related?
Yes.
Oh, tell me.
He failed while attempting to prove that a Segway could stop before running off a cliff. I don't know if he was doing a presentation or just showing off to people who was like, yeah, this is the Segway I invented and the braking's good. I mean, I could go towards that cliff and stop in time. Yeah, go on then. And he didn't.
And it still got, you know what,
yeah.
Fair enough.
He was just being an idiot.
But that classic joke of, last words before you die going, boy, what's this?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Oh.
It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
Of course, in Cato, that's so bad.
So I was just being casually racist, forgetting which one's which.
That was anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Everything about a double axe handle is anticlimactic.
I wonder if that's the Gato that's in New Japan. There is a wrestler called Gato, spelt the exact same way.
I'm not sure.
Who I believe might be a member of Bullet Club.
Oh, he is, isn't he?
But I don't know if it's the same person, or if it's one of those names that gets passed on, like Tiger Mask.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Nova spends a lot of time in this match, I think, being the more experienced. I don't think Chris Chetty had done much. I think Taz had a training school, and Chris Chetty was one of the few to come out of that school.
Wow, being his cousin.
Oh, no, nepotism, right?
It makes sense.
Well, one thing I did notice about Chris Chetty is he wrestles like his legs are confused.
Does he?
Every time he's in the ring, he looks like he doesn't know what his legs are about to do.
Let's see if I can unsee that.
I don't know what that rumbling noise is, the crowd.
I think they're just stomping. I can tell you exactly what that is, actually, from personal experience. I think because it's such a small arena, the seats at the back, it's almost like bleachers.
Right, okay.
So the stomping actually moves it about. It's not the most secure of things.
That tooth.
Could have been some spit. Normally spit.
Yeah.
It just looks like teeth.
Well-timed spit.
I know Ciampa was a bugger for that.
Yeah. The weakest clothesline you'll ever see in your life.
All it takes is a touch to break up the pin, though.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. I wonder if it's the zebra trousers that make it look like he doesn't know where his legs are going.
Yeah, it's like it's some weird optical illusion.
It's like MC Hammer-esque.
I love the way the ref counts with two hands.
But that might be one of the only times I've seen a double pin spot where it hasn't ended the match.
Yeah.
That normally really just ends. It's very anticlimactic.
See, when he does that slam, his legs go backwards, or one of his legs goes backwards, and it's really strange. Yeah, decent match.
Ready to go off. It was quickly paced, which is on brand.
The way he's selling looks like his legs are just walking, and he doesn't know why he's walking.
I think there's also a Brian Christopher quality, like that sidekick. Brian Christopher used to use a lot. Here we go. This is where Elektra explains herself.
Oh, I remember. It's because he's a man, isn't it?
She wants a man's man, and apparently the Dangerous Alliance can do that.
He gets lost in a maze of words here.
That is a car crash of a sentence.
She just completely loses track of what she's saying.
It feels like a shoe.
They've probably gone, say what you want. She's like, I can do that completely.
Oh, no, I'm lost.
I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just going to slap my hands up.
What language am I talking?
I've never seen a female do the Terry Crews thing and like flex their tits. I've never.
I have, but that's a difference.
Right, okay, fair enough. See, that's the thing. If you're a sexy female, you can get away with stumbling over your words just by wanking off a phone.
Apparently, I get you out of trouble. And here comes the only semi-final of the tournament. Out comes Super Crazy. Now, I'm hoping you've written down what I've written down. You heard Guido's build weight?
No.
I'd like you to have a listen.
Is it double figures, not triple figures?
No. Listen. Right, we know the height of Guido, and he's not the biggest of dudes.
No.
That can't be right. 201.25 pounds? Weighs more than Super Crazy, apparently.
He weighs almost double Super Crazy.
No, 201 versus 194.
Oh, fucking hell. Numbers.
But still, he's not heavier than Super Crazy.
There is no way.
He's built like a chicken wing.
He's lighter than the ref.
I'm willing to bet he's lighter than me. And I'm like 175.
Yeah, this was your sort of exposure to Super Crazy being allowed to do what he wants.
Guido too, to a certain extent.
Yeah, always underappreciated, I think.
I know a lot of the work in WWE when they kept the FBI gimmick. I love that flip up as well.
Oh, it's so smooth.
There aren't many people that have ever been able to do that.
The camera can barely keep up, flying nothing into an armbar.
Very smooth though.
Nothing pretty about that move. Just literally chucks himself fist first into him.
And now he's got a chair.
Oh yeah, it's ECW.
I'm very surprised they didn't do the bounce back spot then.
Yeah. It looked like he thought about it, maybe. Unprotected chair shots, man.
Hindsight's a hell of a thing.
Ugh, it's so hard to watch.
Yeah, back at the time, though, we were loving it.
Yeah.
Because we just didn't understand. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of things in 20 years' time where we were questioning what the hell certain performers were thinking.
I love the crowd chant in Spanish.
Such a great touch.
Yeah. £600. Don't know about that. As a big guy, but we're saying that. Guido's 200.
Yeah, he has to be 600. But Crazy's only 194.
I like the way he pulled it out of his pocket, though.
It's not around his waist.
Out of his jacket pocket.
What's the difference between a normal death match and an Italian death match?
One of them's Italian.
Good point.
Hell of a DDT. I don't know what happened there.
That might be worse than the chair shot.
Like he didn't have a choice but like to spin with him. So weird, like Crazy puts himself in the position for it to help him out, but it's like in a really obvious way.
Crumples up like a piece of paper trying to get himself in position.
Yeah. At ECW, there's just constant interference, other people.
It's because every match is no disqualification, right?
It depends on the storyline. Sometimes they do.
Brave trying to get a 600-pound man into a Hurricane Rana.
Yeah, he just sort of falls.
That's not pretty.
We don't see that more. I'm surprised because it's such a good move.
It might have that Styles Clash kind of element to it.
Yeah, maybe.
You don't want someone going face first unless you know you can trust the person giving it 100%.
There's a weird thing with the ending here.
Yeah, I missed that on the first watch through. And a brainbuster on the table.
Yeah, I don't know if Nunzio accidentally kicked out or Guido, sorry. But the ref sort of goes, yeah, oh no, oh, or what? But yeah, quick thinking to do another move and then call it.
And super crazy, we'll go on to face Rhino in the main event of the show.
Not the real main event of the show. Anyone that knows this pay-per-view knows what the real main event is.
Yeah, of course.
Look how real this game looks, they
Hardcore
say.
Revolution. Well, in 2000, it would have been.
Oh, man, and I love the way it's Joey Styles beating Cyrus. It's just so good.
Yeah, it's no mercy, isn't it? And he's commentating his own match in the game.
I didn't even make that connection, you know.
And the match just wins. No pin, no submission, it's just, he's knocked out.
Like an ECW match.
Yeah.
But this match isn't going to be pretty.
What makes you say that? Kentaro Kanemura versus Balls Mahoney.
You've seen a Balls Mahoney match before.
I certainly have.
Not a technical wizard.
No, but very fitting for ECW.
Yeah.
And Vince signed him.
Surprising. I mean, I'd like to know how much of those signings Vince had a hand in.
I think he had to fill 3 rosters, is the answer.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it.
And even then he ended up just sending people over.
This senton is ridiculous. That's all of that.
Jeff Hardy, eat your heart out.
Yeah. I mean, fair play, Balls just no-sells it.
Yeah, this is hard hitting.
This is the story that they always say in Balls Mahoney matches. Oh, you punched a referee. Like, you're in ECW, man. People do stuff to referees all the time.
Well, anyone with a legitimate wrestling background around this time was kind of praised for having that.
Yeah, the Balls used to no-sell chair shots quite a lot.
Yeah, that kind of helped with the CTE thing.
No. And they're always unprotected as well. And that chair shot, if you look at the chair, it's bent.
And Balls wins in about 2 minutes. It's the Baldies, Jack.
It's the Baldies. The Baldies were feuding with the Gangsters at this time, which is why New Jack comes out and attacks them, because New Jack was obviously part of the Gangsters.
Right.
Vic Grimes, part of the Baldies.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is the thing that this event is known for.
This is the reason we wanted to watch it, really.
And it's just
brutal.
And don't worry, that's not the first table Grimes is going to be going through.
Yep.
Right.
Here they come.
What is this music?
It's 90s rap.
It's WWE licensed music is what it is.
That is what you get throughout the whole show. If it's not generic guitar riffs, it's generic rap riffs.
Seeing as your exposure to ECW is fairly minimal, he had a theme that was by Dr. Dre and Ice Cube called Natural Born Killers.
Right.
And it played throughout his matches.
Was that just a thing?
Yeah, that was his thing.
I wonder why they kept the music playing the whole time.
Yeah. And it's weird watching it on the WWE network and it not playing Natural Born Killers, because obviously they didn't have the rights to a Dr. Dre song.
It sounds like someone's fingering a theremin.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah, New Jack coming out with his garbage can full of weapons. It's so good. How much do you know about New Jack?
Quite a lot. Mainly from the Dark Side of the Ring episode. But
oh, of course, yeah.
I know quite a lot about him. I know he said himself that, like, whichever company he was in, he had to go over the top compared to everybody else.
Yeah.
If he didn't, he wasn't doing his job.
Don't break the PS1. They're worth so much money now.
Too late.
I wonder if that's because they were trying to plug the game.
Maybe.
He's rapping along to the song, look, and it's not syncing up at all.
He's just having fun. At least it was a gimmicks guitar, right?
he was entertaining, New Jack. You know what you were getting when he came out.
It helped that he just did not give a fuck.
He's got a pizza cutter in his hand. It's just starts grinding his head with it. It's horrible.
I think that was one of New Jack's specialties. Is that he liked to use stuff like pizza cutters specifically in matches.
Pizza cutters, scythes, and staples was a big one as well.
Well, if anybody's seen his forehead, we know he had no aversion to bleeding.
He's got that sort of Abdullah the Butcher, Devon Dudley, like.
And Batista, weirdly. You wouldn't think Batista bleeded that much, but it's there.
I've never really looked at his head.
Next time you see him, you won't unsee it.
Oh, this makes a hell of a noise, if I remember. There's a really funny bit here. It looks like there's a fan that's trying to like square up to New Jack. And it's like, what are you doing?
You're not that brave, mate.
What are you doing? Yeah, there's people just like excited to be on camera, and there's one guy just going, yeah, what?
ECW, they make it all about them. It's crowd work like that, isn't it? There you go. Picture of the top of Dave Bautista's head.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, because they're into his hairline, aren't they?
Like I said, he's not known for blading, but obviously he did.
Yeah. I can't think of a match where he does bleed, to be fair.
Either that or the top of his head is just very unfortunate.
Yeah. Oh, knowing what's coming up is just...
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it.
Were you only aware of it because of the Dark Side of the Ring?
Yeah, I hadn't heard the story before it.
Okay. You know about the fallout of it as well.
I know exactly what happened afterwards, yeah.
Yeah. The other one's more famous. The one that happened in XPW.
The Revenge.
Yeah, the scaffold match, and there's the mountains of tables, and the story was New Jack throws him over the top, and he missed all of the tables on the way down and bounces off the ring. It's horrible.
But he said that he was trying to get him past the ropes, out to the floor. He was trying to kill him.
I don't necessarily think that's true. They're wrestlers.
It's a very New Jack thing to say.
Yeah. But I think this one is worse for just the injuries that happened to it. But the other one looked more spectacular.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Well, I think a lot of that has to do with framing, because they had to have a handheld camera out in the back here, whereas everything that happened in XPW, it happened in the ring, so they had the hard cam to capture everything.
Yeah.
But I do believe Grimes suffered more injuries.
No, absolutely not. New Jack came off way worse.
Wow, a head injury versus some broken bones. Yeah.
Yeah, the XPW spot, I think Grimes dislocated his ankle coming down. In this, New Jack got brain damage. He got blinded in his right eye. He said he went 3 or 4 days just without sleeping.
Yeah, I forgot about the blindness.
He said after this spot happened, he had brain fluid coming out of his nose and his ears. It's horrible. And he broke his leg as well.
And you know New Jack's recollection of what happened up there?
Yeah, Vic Grimes changed his mind.
Yeah, so they got to the top and they agreed that they were both going to jump down through the tables. When they got up to the top, Vic Grimes was like, I don't think I can do this, man.
I believe what New Jack says in this, because you see like Grimes talking like really furiously at him.
And Jack pulls him.
And the way they go, yeah, Jack does pull him.
Yeah. Jack's like, one way or another, we're jumping off this thing. Either you jump with me or I'm taking you with me.
Well, this was New Jack's thing in ECW. Like, he would jump off stupidly high things.
It was in the intro sequence.
Yeah.
I saw him jump off the balcony.
Also, you know they were both going to go up, because putting New Jack on top of the table and then another table on top of it, I can only think of one instance where someone has actually gone through with that spot. And it was the Hardys in TNA, I think.
Yep, sounds about right.
It was a table, then Jeff, or was it Matt, and then another table. I don't think it was Matt that went through both tables. It was just so weird to see. Yeah, it's here you can see them talking to each other.
And New Jack's not letting him go.
Yeah, even Grimes trying to back away, look. Oh my God. It's so hard to watch.
And Vic Grimes, obviously he's a wrestler, but he's not a small wrestler.
No.
That's like 300 pounds.
And he lands
on his head.
On New Jack's head.
Right on New Jack's head. I know he cracked his skull. I'd forgotten about the blindness.
Yeah, ridiculous. He said he gets like random ringing in his ears and his eyes get bloodshot for no reason. Like that was up until his death. He had those side effects, and it was just horrible. But what started the revenge storyline was New Jack obviously had to go to hospital for that. Grimes was telling people that he was the one to hurt New Jack after that, and he never apologized to New Jack for it.
He also said that he never called him in the hospital to check he was okay.
That's it. He was just showing off the fact that he hurt New Jack, where New Jack's argument was, no, you didn't. New Jack hurt New Jack. Oh,
that wrestling business, eh?
Imagine going on after that. I mean, that wasn't even a match.
No. See, hearing the story on the Dark Side of the Ring episode, I thought it was. But just a strange kind of street fight.
It's just a weird angle that they were doing.
They showed the replay.
I mean, they say they're 40 feet up. I don't think it's quite 40 feet.
Definitely not.
It's still impressive.
It's maybe 20.
Cyrus, I don't know how many more times we have to watch this. Yeah, absolutely correct. That siren that happens then, I don't know whether that's part of the music or not, or whether they're trying to Say there's ambulance coming to pick up New Jack.
It could be either. You could have told me either and I would have believed you.
Yeah, I might be thinking about it too much.
And amazing if the music's still playing.
Yeah, whenever New Jack was out, his theme played constantly. It's such a weird little... It's not really a gimmick.
No.
But Cyrus's smug face, he's selling it so well.
Can't really take your eyes off him with those facial expressions.
I know. They're just recapping the same stuff that they've done because they're trying to put the arena back together, I think.
I think it was also a case of everyone checking on Jack and Grimes.
Yeah. I mean, I would imagine that there would have been no checking whatsoever. There would have been a call to an ambulance straight away. Get him to a hospital now.
You don't mention of heat.
Yeah, he does it a few times in this. But I think that was a thing that was in the wrestling industry at that time, using insider terms.
This is when, I guess, smarks were emerging.
Yeah, it was Russo in WCW,
yes.
Like sort of peeling back the curtain and...
Well, this was around the time of Bash at the Beach, so...
Yeah. Lance Storm and Mike Awesome in a ring together. I'm in.
I mean, Tanaka out of these six is the only one I'm not familiar with.
We'll watch a couple of Mike Awesome Masato Tanaka matches because they're like legendary in ECW.
Correct me if I'm wrong as well. Like, Raven was kind of underutilized as a promo in ECW.
No.
Was he not?
No. They capitalized on that.
Thank God.
Yeah. Well, the ECW was the birth of the Raven character. Look at Mike Awesome. Utterly ridiculous.
That Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, Undertaker spot again.
Yeah. Raven had been Johnny Polo and his other gimmick, who I can't remember. When he joined ECW, it was the birth of the Raven character, so the promos and everything started in ECW.
That's always the one thing Raven is known for.
Yeah.
Is that he was so good on the mic.
Tommy Dreamer's almost Alice in Chains theme.
Yeah, it's all generic guitar themes, isn't it?
Because he was like famous for coming out for Man in the Box by Alice in Chains.
Ah, okay.
But his WWE theme, which is the one that they use here, it's basically Man in the Box.
It's not the first time that a theme will get replaced in this show, though, is it?
Absolutely not. Watching these two together, I mean, he gets some height on that drop kick.
And manages to almost backflip out of it.
Just Incredible's a weird one. He looks like he should have gone far. But didn't. Because the more you think about it, you're like, there's just nothing to his character. He's just scrappy, tough guy.
I know the name because how can you forget a name like that?
Yeah.
But I don't think I've seen any of his matches. I don't know his career path either. I don't know where he went after or before this.
He was in WWE.
Invasion stuff, right?
Yeah. Getting fans to do things.
Yeah, hold this.
But hold it. No, make sure you're strong. Be strong. Be strong.
Just his head's going through this thing.
The guy doesn't know what to do. He's just sat there still holding it like,
what do I do with this?
Okay, what do I do with my feet? Mike Awesome tells the ref off for moving the table. Awesome's like, fine, I'll put it back for God's sake.
And so I just noticed there, it says, hey, CBS, fuck off.
You see when he goes through the table, there's just nowhere for him to go. His body just like crumples.
Great discus elbow.
So Pin comes out of nowhere, and I know he's had another match, Mike Awesome.
But it was a 5-minute one against Kid Cash.
Why pin the heavyweight champion?
Yeah, Raven could afford to take the pin there.
Where is Raven?
It could be that they were sort of giving Tanaka the rub ahead of more, because I don't know if this was pre or post that rivalry you were talking about.
They'd had a couple of matches. They had a big rivalry in Japan in FMW as well. I don't know whether they're playing into they know each other really well.
Quite possibly.
It's just weird pinning your heavyweight champion just out of nowhere. I mean, I don't know about you, but now that Mike Awesome's not here, I'm checked out.
I do disagree with that. I think purely because I didn't know anything going into this pay-per-view, and having the champs get eliminated first, it increases the stakes quite a lot.
Yeah.
Because you know there's new champions, it's just who it will be.
Yeah.
Coming back to another WWE example, because that's all I've got in terms of knowledge. It's like the Elimination Chamber match where Bray became world champion for the first time.
Oh, they pinned
I think it was Cena, yeah. It was Cena or Styles. One of them was champion going into the chamber, and they got pinned quite early.
Didn't Bray pin Styles?
Yeah. Bray pinned both Styles and Cena.
Yeah.
I think. Either way, once the champ was beat, they knew something was coming.
It's a good way to do it. I love the way that the Impact players are both in the ring fighting Dreamer, And Tanaka's just stood there waiting for a pin.
It's more that face heel issue that I have with tag matches. Although I've never known Dreamer as a heel, so I don't know if he was at this point. I'll never be comfortable watching a pile driver ever again.
Nope. Especially not with someone like Storm. Like, I have no doubt he's one of the safest workers there is. But what makes a pile driver safe is if someone's got big legs.
Well, Owen Hart was known as one of the safest workers before he nearly killed Stone Cold Steve Austin, so you can't completely rely on that.
True.
That's why a lot of moves get banned. But after about 3 or 4 pile drivers, Storm Incredible win the tag belts back.
Yeah, lots of pile drivers, lots of DDTs. It's an ECW, it's gonna happen.
And that leaves us with one match.
Don't kiss those belts, it's ECW, don't know where they've been.
At least it wasn't videotaped. Oh! Can't prove what was done with those belts.
I don't think you need to.
And here comes Cyrus to celebrate.
Empty suit is such a great insult. You empty suit. Arm Day Jason there on the left.
Who the hell is that?
Jason, the sexiest man on earth.
Oh, why didn't you say so?
Well, you didn't ask. Just literally does Arm Day. His face hugging Dawn Marie is so funny as well.
Dirty bastard. Cyrus strikes me as the type of man who lasts 30 seconds in bed.
Oh yeah, he's all bark. I think that's just how good Don Callis is.
Yeah. He's good now.
Yeah.
But to see that he was still that good back in 2000 only makes me respect him more.
Even prior to this, he was in WWF as the Jackal.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And he was doing good work then. With the Oddities, I think. Yeah, he's been around a long time.
I think he started roughly the same time Jericho did, in the same town.
Right, okay.
Very early 90s, Winnipeg. Out comes Rhino to generic guitar riff number 6.
Built like a fridge. I love that Carino comes out still covered in blood. It's like, dude, you've been back there for 2 hours.
Just clean yourself off,
What have
mate.
you been doing?
What's that? Is his wrestling guitar? It looks like it's velvet.
The Rhino?
Yes. Looks like it's made of velvet.
It does, just like it's felt.
That can't be comfortable.
He is such an odd shape, Rhino, isn't he?
There'll never be anyone like him. Not ever again.
He's so wide. And here we go.
Count how many times Paul says fuck.
I think a lot of the things he's saying there is him venting real life frustrations.
Yeah, he's shooting on the network.
Yeah, I think at this point he was like, if you're going to fire us. Like, don't care anymore.
Go out with a blaze of glory.
There you go. Cyrus mouthing along with the promo. Did you see that?
I didn't notice that. Comes Joel Gertner again.
Probably because Paul Heyman was very tired. But that's it. That's all the Paul Heyman you get.
5 fucks in like 2 minutes, though.
See him doing it.
Yeah.
It's so strange, isn't it?
Why? Why are you doing that, Don?
You know what the best bit about that is? When I watched this in preparation, AJ, my wife, pointed that out to me.
Wow.
I didn't even notice.
Fair play to her.
She doesn't like wrestling.
But she noticed that.
Yeah. Well, she asked, why is he mouthing along? I was like, don't know. I love that spot as well. No regard for his own safety whatsoever.
Call him super crazy for nothing.
Straight over the referee.
Yeah, they did sort of play this dynamic quite well because the only way you're going to beat a dude as big as Rhino is to just be crazy.
Yeah, and they pushed Rhino as well so hard.
He's been somewhat of a big deal everywhere he's gone.
Yeah, he wasn't so much in WWE. I couldn't tell you anything of merit that he did.
I know the work he did with Edge and Christian, and that he was tag team champion with Heath Slater, but he was kind of on the decline then.
Yeah, no, they got over. They did the same thing in Impact as well.
There you go.
That was the We Got Kids storyline.
Yep.
Or I've Got Kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that was a language issue with Crazy, but the crowd start chanting for Sandman, and I'm convinced he thinks they're chanting We Want Tables, because he looks around and then goes, oh wait, they're not saying tables, shit. I shouldn't play up to what they're saying.
Grabbed a table. Yeah, the 90s and 2000s were a weird one for wrestling because each company had one massive star that had that kind of treatment of like, they're not here, and the crowd's just going to ask for it regardless.
Yeah, it was normally Rob Van Dam in ECW.
They knew he wasn't going to be there because he was very injured.
Yeah, that's the reason the television championship is on the line, because he was on the tail end of, I think, a 2-year run.
Yeah, and he'd broken his leg.
Broke his leg or his ankle, I can't remember which.
I remember being in a leg cast.
But it was such like a wet fart of an ending for that reign. Like,
Such a shame.
He was their star.
There are ways around that, though. The one I think of is Asuka in NXT.
Yeah,
She had to give up the title because of injury as well.
yeah, that's true.
Back to my earlier point, I think Sandman, and not to my knowledge, but RVD in ECW, you had Sting and Flair in WCW. That was a nasty spot on that table. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but just absolutely dumps him through the table.
You are right to interrupt me. He went feast first straight into that table.
It's so bad. It's almost like the crowd wanted it, and then it happened, and they just go,
oh no, not like that.
Oh, I completely interrupted you. What were you saying?
No, you're okay. I think the WCW example would have been Sting and Flair as the people that people were asking for.
Yeah.
And then it was always Austin in WWE.
Austin, Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, a later time.
CM Punk to a certain extent. But I think chanting CM Punk wasn't because they wanted Punk, it was to let people know they were bored.
Yeah, it was always anti-authority in the non-kayfabe sense.
Yeah.
Dropped the table on his leg, I think, there. He's selling it.
And it starts selling it, it's so good. But I mean, he dropped it on his shin. If I knock my shin, I'm screwed, I'm down.
I don't know how heavy those tables are, though.
Enough to hurt.
What are you doing, crazy? You're on the other side of the ring, mate.
Yeah, weird reaction to have, isn't it? He's gone through the table. Quick, go outside.
In the opposite corner.
I mean, it wouldn't be an ECW event if Rhino didn't gore himself through a table.
I think that's another you suck dick chant.
Alex Carino's out there.
Ah, of course.
Oh, this is the trifecta, yeah. It's such a cool move.
I don't remember this being a thing that he did. I don't remember him doing it in WWE anyway.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Now, was that meant to happen? Where he lands on the ref on that third one? Or was he just forced to sell it?
I mean, it's hard to say because ref bumps are just, they're pointless in ECW.
Yeah. And then in comes Tajiri, splits the mist on Super Crazy and kicks the hell out of it.
That sell is so good. It's funny how all the men in the ring would end up in WWE.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? Yeah, flat, having to gore him when he's upside down like that because there's nowhere to go.
Yeah, it's just no impact at all. The table just gives up.
And now we know someone's coming. Can't tell from the theme, though.
The guy who's carrying him is struggling so much. This is where you can tell there was no sort of medical in ECW because the stuff that Van Dam does now shouldn't be allowed.
With a broken leg? No, absolutely not. And now he's got no crutch.
I mean, he's hopping, and like I don't think there's much selling going on there.
No, he's not selling there. Shouldn't lift Rhino up, should you? And Super Crazy wins the television championship.
I'm fairly sure as well Rob Van Dam doesn't wrestle again in ECW.
I can't remember when he joined WWE. I want to say 2002. So we got a couple of years out of him.
Yeah, because the last television champion was Rhino?
I want to say so, yeah.
And then he won the heavyweight title on the last ECW pay-per-view, I think. I know he was the last heavyweight champion. He might have been both.
I can see it. Then he jumped ship.
As someone who's not medically cleared, they're just grabbing him by the leg.
Tajiri never cared, though, did he? He was always just having fun.
Massive We Want Sandman chance.
Tajiri was brave enough to wind up William Regal, so...
This is so horrible. That generic WWE licensed music.
That kind of sounds like Enter Sandman.
It's just horrible. But yeah, him coming out to anything other than Enter Sandman is so wrong. I wrote in my notes, Sandman's music is generic shit.
Yeah.
The crowd used to sing along to it, and it was
a moment.
Yeah, it was a really big deal.
Well, at least we know his wife's okay.
I don't think they mentioned it, do they?
No, but I don't think he'd be here if she wasn't.
Just pick some beers up off the floor. Lovely. Sandman's tattoo of his own face is ridiculous.
I think he's the only person mental enough to do something like that. Oh no, I tell a lie. Steve-O.
I was just going to say. It's his own face on his back, isn't it?
I feel like he did that for a dare, though.
I think it was a Jackass stunt, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's the only reason Steve-O did anything in the 90s and 2000s.
Don't give Sandman a mic.
Kill that song?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, please.
Ask for the song to be killed, and it doesn't. I don't know if you noticed this. Van Damme's reaction to being given a beer. No, it makes a smoking gesture.
I missed that. That's genius.
So good.
It's like the worst kept secret in wrestling.
Well, that was his gimmick, was just weed.
But like in WWE, it was never a thing.
Yeah.
I think the only time it was ever mentioned when Mick Foley cut a promo on him.
Yeah. Why did the Sandman ask for the microphone and ask for the music to be killed and then just didn't do anything?
I think they just didn't cut the music. Maybe Paul was sort of saying, yeah, that's it. We're done. You're not cutting a promo.
Yeah.
We're just, yeah.
No, I've sworn too much on this show already.
This show's over. Over.
I forgot how exhausting it was watching ECW.
Not in a bad way, though.
Just mentally tiring.
You don't get a break.
No, but they're mercifully short. Yeah, there's a lot more to this event than just the Danbury Fall. 2 Mike Awesome matches, which is always a plus.
I can certainly see the appeal after never seeing him before.
Yeah, in my top 5 wrestlers of all time.
I don't know many people that would agree with you there as well.
But he doesn't immediately jump to your mind because he didn't do much. But after watching one of his matches, you're just like, holy shit.
Yeah, of course. Certainly a lot of potential.
And there it is.
ECW's Living Dangerously 2000. Yeah. Let's go home.
Bye.